Okay, so let's continue our discussion. So we will have now the problem solving part for the principles of illumination. So this will be the objective of this lesson. So this is just a continuation of the discussion that we had about illumination, wherein in the first part I discussed the concepts and the theories involved. So this time we will be having the problem solving part. Okay, so in this lesson you will be able to estimate illumination and brightness. Then also we will explain coefficient of utilization, maintenance factor in terms of lighting, and cavity configuration in terms of illumination. Okay, so let's start. So let me have a short introduction for this. So in many respects, it is more important to know luminance measurement than illumination because the eye is more sensitive to brightness than simple illumination. Okay? But sabi, however, mas mahirap daw i-measure yung luminance kesa sa illumination. Okay? Then also, just to again recall that mostly the bright or the light that we can see is product of reflection, di ba? So, coming from the source, tumatama sa mga object na nasa paligid natin, and then nagre-reflect papunta sa mata natin. And then, yung ating sense of sight, magsisend ng signal kay brain, and then si brain na mag-i-interpret ko ano man yung nakikita natin. Okay? So, basically, sa laboratory or even in industrial setup, meron tayong tinatawag na luminance meter. So commonly ito yung mga available or ginagamit sa laboratory or sa mga pagsusukat ng mga measurement of lighting in terms of amount of illumination na kailangan sa isang area. Okay? So, katulad ng sinabi ko sa inyo ng lecture, me personally, hindi pa ako nakakakita nito sa actual. Okay? So, we have the comparator type, the direct reading type, at saka yung accurate laboratory instrument. Okay? So, mas madaling gamitin yung direct reading type. Ito yon. Ayan. Kasi all we have to do is to read since analog siya. So, babasahin lang natin kung ano yung nababasa natin na number dyan. And meaning that is already the amount of lumination sa isang area. Okay? Then also, meron tayong tinatawag na portable foot meter. Okay? So, ano naman itsura nun? Ito yon, yung portable foot meter. Okay? So, the quantity of light level illumination can be easily measured or calculated with the aid of the portable foot candle meter. Ito yan. Okay? So, let's have first the different units that we'll be using for illumination and luminance. Okay, so we have the foot candle. So foot candle is the amount of light flux density. Okay, so it is the unit of measure used when describing the amount of light in a room and is expressed in lumens per square foot. Kaya siya tinatawag na foot candle. Ayan ha. Then also we have the foot lambert. So simply it is defined as the luminance of a surface reflecting. Okay, ibig sabihin the foot lambert has something to do with yung ability ng surface na mag-reflect ng light. Okay, so transmitting or emitting 1 lumen of illumination per square foot of area in the direction being viewed, or the conventional unit of brightness or luminance, in the same manner that the lumens is the light output generated continuously by standard wax candle. Kaya ito, yung sinasabi natin na lumens, that is already the light output, okay? Wherein ang pinagbabasehan natin dito is the standard wax candle. Ayan, okay? So, again ha, yung foot candle, it has something to do with the light flux density. Okay? So, yun yung amount ng flux density na kayang ibigay ng isang source. Then, yung foot lambert naman, yun, dito natin ginagamit, ito yung unit na ginagamit if we wanted to know yung luminance na kayang i-offer ng isang reflecting surface. And then pag lumens naman, that is already the light output. Kung gaano kaliwanag yung ibibigay na brightness, okay? Yung amount ng brightness na ibibigay ng isang source of light. Ayan, okay? Then, we have here now the formula in computing illumination or illuminance. So again ha, iba kasi yung term na illumination sa lumination, sa iba yung illuminance sa luminance. Ayan, okay? So, si illumination, it is the luminous flux received by a surface per unit area. That is why in an equation, illumination is simply equal to the ratio between the luminous flux, which is the F. Ang unit natin na gagamitan is lumens or LM. Then yung A natin is the area. Wherein, para magamit natin yung unit ng foot candle, ang area natin should be in squared meter. Okay? So that is why illumination is simply F over A. Or sometimes, sa ibang libro, nilalagay na dito na foot candle is equal to lumens divided by the squared area. Okay? Then, let's have a sample problem here. Sorry for that. Okay, so a 40-watt fluorescent lamp, 120 centimeters long, produces 3,200 lumens of light in a room having a general dimension of 10 by 20 feet. Find the illumination on the floor. Okay, so dito mga anak, as you can see, since ang hinahanap lang naman natin ay illumination, ang kailangan lang natin F at saka A. So that is why hindi na muna magmamatter yung wattage ng fluorescent lamp na ginamit, which is yung 40 watts. At saka hindi muna natin papansinin kung gaano kahaba yung fluorescent lamp na ginamit. So therefore, for this problem, i-disregard nyo muna yung value ng wattage at saka yung length ng lamp. Kasi ang kailangan lang naman natin dito is the luminous flux, which is 3,200 lumens, at saka yung area natin, which is the 10 by 20 feet. Ngayon, di ba, sabi kasi dito, para magamit natin yung unit ng foot candle, kailangan yung area natin is naka-express into squared meter. Kaya yung 200 feet na nakuha natin sa area, squared feet na nakuha natin sa area, convert natin yan into squared meter. Okay, so using the conversion factor, 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meter. Then, i-squared lang natin kasi naka-squared ito para makancel natin yung squared feet. Ayan, okay? So, 200 times 0.3048 squared will give you 18.58 squared meter. So therefore, na-convert na natin si squared foot kay squared meter, kaya pwede na natin kuhanin yung amount ng illumination. So using the equation F over A, and our illumination is equal to 172.23. Again, the unit is foot candle. Okay, so since illumination ang hinahanap natin, so ang unit natin will be foot candle. Okay, then to continue, okay, so since na-mention na natin yung foot candle, ano ba yung importance niyan sa ating discussion? So the foot candle is an important unit of measure in calculating the desired illumination and layout of fixtures. Okay? Kapag ka daw, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo nung nagdi-discuss tayo sa face-to-face session natin, na yung fixtures, pag sinabi natin fixtures, yun yung mga gamit na ilalagay natin sa isang room. Okay? Kaya 'di ba, example natin diyan, halimbawa, mas maliwanag yung room na walang laman kaysa sa room na may laman na. 'Di ba? Kasi kapag walang laman, ang magiging reflecting surface lang natin are the ceiling, the wall, and the floor. Kasi wala namang ibang object na tatamaan ng light, 'di ba? Pero once na meron ng mga appliances, meron ng other objects na pwedeng tamaan ng light, so makakaapekto na 'yon sa illumination, 'di ba? The more na marami yung gamit, the more na dumidilim, kasi hindi naman lahat ng gamit natin sa bahay ay may ability na i-reflect yung light 100%. There are some fixtures na instead na nire-reflect yung light ay ina-absorb. Okay? So, that is why mahalaga na i-consider natin in terms of illumination, una yung area, yung laki nung room halimbawa at saka yung dami ng gamit na ilalagay dun sa room kasi makaka-apekto yun. Okay? So sabi dito, yung 10-foot candle is adequate na yon for halls and corridors. So mas mababa yung number, mas mababa din yung amount ng illumination na kaya niyang i-offer. So, ibig sabihin, ma'am, bakit mababa sa halls and corridors? Daanan po yan. Kasi commonly, wala namang appliances, di ba? Wala namang fixtures sa mga halls, sa mga corridors, di ba? Kasi daanan yun eh, di ba? So, kaya enough na yung 10-foot candle kasi walang masyadong tatamaan na object. 'Di ba? Ang tatamaan lang nun is again the ceiling, the wall and the floor. So mostly ng light will be reflected. Kaya okay na rin 'yan. Okay? Then yung 30-foot candle, sufficient na siya for areas between workstations such as in offices other than desk area. So, halimbawa, sa isang working area, okay, may mga desk na, ayan. So, definitely hindi na kaya yun ng 10-foot candle kasi may mga fixtures na. Kaya mas mataas na. Ngayon, kung medyo mas dikit-dikit naman daw yung mga fixtures natin, halimbawa, yung mga table, dikit-dikit naman daw, so pwede na yung 30-foot candle. Okay? Pero, kapag medyo malawak na yung space, ayan, syempre, mas nangangailangan na siya ng mas mataas na illumination. Kaya yung 50-foot candle, it is satisfactory on spaces where office work is done. So, halimbawa, sa production, since nandun yung paggawa ng produkto, so dapat mas illuminated, di ba? Kaya mas mataas na amount ng illumination ang kailangan. So, pwedeng 50 or more or greater, okay, foot candle ang illumination na kailangan. Ayan. So, dito sa figure natin, makikita natin dito yung ano ba tawag natin dito? Parang required lumens sa bawat parte ng bahay natin. So sa living room, we have 1,500 to 3,000 lumens. Sa bedroom naman, we have 2,000 to 4,000 lumens. Sa dining room, we have 3,000 to 6,000 lumens. Sa bathroom, 4,000 to 8,000 lumens. At saka sa kitchen, 5,000 to 10,000 lumens. So as you can see, class, sa living room pinakamababa. 'Di ba? 1,000 enough na raw 'yon. Okay? Bakit? Kasi 'di ba sa living room diyan tayo nagre-relax, hindi tayo mare-relax, hindi kasi mapapahingan yung utak natin kung masyadong maliwanag, 'di ba? 'Di ba sa living room doon tayo nagpapahinga, doon tayo nagre-relax, okay? Kaya medyo mababa lang yung amount ng lumens na nire-required. Okay? Then kung mapapansin ninyo, sa kitchen yung pinakamataas na amount ng lumens kasi 'di ba sa kitchen sa kitchen daw mostly nangyayari ang accident. 'Di ba? Kaya dapat talaga well illuminated ang kitchen natin. Kasi syempre diyan nagluluto, 'di ba? Pag nagluluto pwedeng mapaso, ganyan. Pag naghihiwa ng mga ingredients para sa food, pwede tayong maaksidente, 'di ba? Tapos kung mapapansin ninyo, mataas din sa bathroom. Kasi pangalawa sa mostly nangyayari ang aksidente sa bahay ay sa bathroom. Ayan, okay? So, di ba kasi bathroom yan, laging basa. So, pwedeng madulas, ganyan. Kaya, dapat well illuminated din siya. Ayan, ha? So, the more na mas marami yung task na gagawin, the more na dapat mas mataas yung amount of lumens natin. Ayan, okay? Next. So, however, providing an adequate quantity of light alone is not a guarantee for an efficient and comfortable vision. So hindi pala sapat yung quantity of light para masabi natin na efficient at comfortable sa vision natin yung illumination na meron ang isang source of light. So in fact, the quality of light is very important, especially when difficult visual needs are required. 'Di ba? Pagka yung example nga yung sa kitchen, 'di ba? Kasi nga nagluluto, naghihiwa, ganyan. Kaya meron dapat proper amount of luminance. Ayan. So the luminance or brightness of a diffusely reflecting surface is equal to the product of the illumination and the reflectance. So kaya papasok dito yung equation natin in computing luminance kasi 'di ba sabi ko sa inyo kanina, iba si lumination kay luminance, 'di ba? Si luminance 'yan yung ability ng surface na mag-reflect ng light, 'di ba? Si illumination, yun yung amount of brightness na ino-offer ng isang light source, okay? Kaya kung mapapansin nyo dito, ang equation natin for luminance is illumination multiplied with the reflectance factor. So, saan manggagaling yung reflectance factor? Doon sa object na tatamaan ng light. Ayan, okay? Or, para hindi din tayo mawala kung anong yung unit na gagamitin natin, for luminance, we will be using Foot-Lambert. Okay? Para magamit natin yung Foot-Lambert na unit, kailangan yung illumination natin ay naka-foot candle. Ayan, okay? So, ayan, a reflectance factor, ito, yung isang ano natin, isang quantity na kailangan para ma-compute natin yung luminance, is the ratio of light reflected by a sample to the light that would be reflected by a hypothetical perfect reflecting diffuser. Pag sinabi nating perfect reflecting diffuser, ina-assume natin na 100% ang reflection. So halimbawa lang para lang ma-visualize niyo, halimbawa may tatlong light rays na tumama sa isang surface, yung tatlong light rays na yon, lahat yon ire-reflect niya. Wala siyang i-absorb. Okay? Yun yung sinasabi natin na perfect reflecting diffuser. Okay? Under identical, ideal, and perfectly Lambertian conditions. Okay? So, yung Lambertian, it has something to do with the term used for the representation of the unit for the luminance. Ayan ha. Okay. So for this, ayan, since we're talking of reflection factor, i-consider natin dito class yung ability ng object na mag-reflect at mag-absorb ng light. Okay? So whole of the light incident on a reflecting surface is not reflected. Okay, kaya papasok si absorption. Kasi sabi dito, hindi lahat ng light incident na tumatama sa mga reflecting surface ay nagre-reflect. Depende iyon sa surface na tatamaan. Okay, kung opaque material 'yan, 90% magre-reflect. Okay, pero kung depende pa rin yung klase ng surface na tatamaan. Kasi example, kung medyo opaque nga pero malambot yung surface, so hindi siya 90% nagre-reflect. So mostly siya nag-absorb. Kaya meron tayong absorption factor. So yung light incident class, just to give you an idea, yun yung light coming from the source na tatama doon sa reflecting surface. So, halimbawa ito, ang reflecting surface natin ay mirror. Ayan. So, halimbawa dito, meron ditong source. So, yung light na galing sa source, ang tawag doon, incident ray. Okay? Or incident light. Ayan. Tapos, tatama dito, dahil opaque material ang mirror, ire-reflect niya. Kaya we have the incident ray and the reflected ray. Ayan, okay? Then, some portion of it is absorbed by the surface and the ratio of reflected light to incident light is called reflection factor. Ayan, yung ratio kung gaano yung nireflect from the incident light, okay, yun yung tinatawag natin na reflection factor. So, ibig sabihin, class, pag mataas yung value ng reflection factor, mas madami yung nare-reflect na light. Okay? Pagka naman mas mataas yung absorption factor, ibig sabihin, mas marami yung na-absorb na light kesa nire-reflect. Ulitin natin ha. Pag mataas yung reflection factor, meaning mas marami yung light na nare-reflect kesa na-absorb. Pagka naman absorption factor, mas marami yung light na na-absorb kesa nagre-reflect. Kaya 'di ba yung mga example ha sa bahay natin, yung mga sofa, yung mga kama, yung mga throw pillows or yung mga pillows, basta yung mga malalambot. Even though they are opaque material, they have the ability to reflect light. Kaya lang, dahil nga medyo malambot sila, so hindi lahat ng light rays na tumatama sa kanila ay kaya nilang i-reflect. Mas marami silang ina-absorb kesa nare-reflect. Ayan, okay? So, Ito yung sample natin in terms of color at saka in terms of surface. So yung mga family of white, yung mga light colors, ang kaya nilang i-reflect na light is about 70 to 90%. Okay? Walang 100 dito kasi definitely may light na may portion ng incident light na i-absorb. Pero the higher the reflectance factor, the more reflected light rays will occur. Okay? So yung mga puti, ayan, we have the pure white, the milk white, light gray, light brown, tsaka light blue, 70 to 90% ang kaya nilang i-reflect. Tapos, the more na dumidilim yung kulay, the more na bumababa din yung ating reflectance factor. Kaya dito, mapapansin niyo yung mga darker colors, darker green, dark blue, dark wood paneling, 5 to 10% na lang. Okay? Kaya 'di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, that is the reason why pag summer, mainit, 'di ba? Mas maganda na magsusuot tayo ng light colors para yung light rays na tatama sa atin, most of it will be reflected. So therefore, hindi natin ma-absorb yung light energy. And we all know that light energy is always associated with heat energy. So hindi natin masyadong mararamdaman yung init. Okay? Pero sa mga surfaces naman, kung surfaces ang pinag-uusapan natin, kung mapapansin ninyo, si ceiling yung may pinakamataas na reflectance factors. Ayan, di ba? Yung umaabot siya ng 70% or higher. Bakit si ceiling? Kasi ang mangyayari from pag tumama yung light sa sa sahig, 'di ba? Yung commonly ang ilaw natin nasa ceiling, 'di ba? Pag tama ng light sa sahig, iba-bounce back ni sahig pataas. Okay? Kaya ang mangyayari, pag balik sa taas, ire-reflect iyon ni ceiling pakala. Ganon. Kaya mataas yung kanyang reflectance factor. Mamaya papakita ko sa inyo, depende pa rin sa posisyon ng ilaw, kung nasaan yung ilaw, yung reflectance ability ng ceiling, ng walls, at saka ng floor. Ayan, okay? So, ang pinakamababa is the floor. Ayan, di ba? Kasi nga, pagka masyadong mataas din yung reflectance factor ni floor, mag-a-act na siya as mirror. Makikita na natin yung sarili natin sa sahig. Okay, kaya hindi din talaga dapat masyadong mataas ang kanyang reflectance factor. Ayan, okay? Next. So, let me have a sample problem for this. Again ha, ang gagamitin natin dito is yung formula ng ilang luminance, which is illumination multiplied with the reflectance factor. Okay? So, find the luminance if the illumination is 16-foot candle and the reflectance factor of the wall is 40%. So, again, the given here is the illumination which is 16-foot candle. Then, yung reflectance factor natin na 40%, gawin lang natin siyang decimal and that is 0.4. And we'll be looking for the luminance. So, luminance is simply the product of the illumination which is 16 FC multiplied with RF which is 0.40. And our luminance now is 6.4 foot Lambert. Okay? So, foot Lambert kasi yung illumination natin ay naka-foot candle kaya meron tayo ditong foot. And Lambert is the unit we use for luminance. Kaya siya foot Lambert. Ayan. Okay? Next. Another way of determining luminance is by total lumens. Tapos dito meron ng transmission factor at saka yung area of diffusion. Ayan, okay? So, compute for the brightness of a fixture which is 1 feet by 4 feet plastic diffuser having a transmittance of 0.6 and illuminated by 2 pieces 3,200 lumens lamp assuming 100% use of light flux. So ibig sabihin, ano ibig sabihin ng 100% use of light flux, okay? 'Di ba yung light flux na tinatawag natin, that is our uh, that is our uh, that is our uh, that is our illumination. Ayan ha. Okay. So dito ang gagawin natin class, kunin muna natin yung total lumens. Ayan o kasi kailangan natin dito yan. Unang-una din kasi, hindi isang piraso lang yung lamp na ginamit. Sabi dito, 2 piraso kasi yung lamp na ginamit. Kaya meron tayong total lumens. Kaya ang gagawin natin, yung 3,200 lumens per lamp yan. Kaya i-multiply natin sa 2. Kaya ang total lumens natin will be 6,400 LM. Okay? Tapos binanggit naman na yung ating yung ating transmission factor which is 0.6 or that is 60%. 'Di ba? Tapos binigay na din naman yung area, ang sabi kasi diyan 1 foot by 4 feet. So therefore that is 1 times 4 feet is equal to 4 squared feet. Okay? Tapos, kukunin natin yung luminance. Since meron na tayong total number of lumens at meron tayong transmission factor, itong formula na to ang gagamitin natin. So, therefore, we have now 6,400 lumens multiplied with 0.6 divided by 4 divided by 4. Okay? So that is now 960 foot Lambert. Again na, foot Lambert since luminance yung ating hinahanap. Okay? Next. O, eto na. Paano nakakaapekto yung wattage na meron ang isang light source. Okay? So another method used in determining illumination is the watts per square meter, wherein the floor is computed from the outside dimensions of the building, excluding open porches. So ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo ha. Halimbawa, ang bahay ninyo may balkonahe, hindi natin yun isasama. Okay? Meaning, kung lalagyan mo ng ilaw yung balkonahe mo, ang i-consider mo lang is yung area ng balkonahe. Hindi mo i-consider yung loob ng bahay. Okay, pagka naman kinonsider mo yung illumination ng buong bahay, hindi mo isasama yung balkonahe. Since nasa labas, lumalabas kasi extension ng bahay ang balkonahe eh, 'di ba? So therefore, dapat kung loob ng bahay lang ang kinukuhanan natin ng illumination, hindi kasama si balkonahe. Kung si balkonahe lang ang kinukuhanan natin ng illumination, hindi naman natin isasama yung loob ng bahay. Ayan, okay? Kasi ba yung example ko sa inyo dito yung sa classroom, di ba? Kung mapapansin niyo may sariling ilaw yung hallway natin. Tapos bukod pa dun sa mga ilaw na nasa loob ng classroom. Ayan, okay? So, depending upon the size of the room, color of wall and ceiling, types of lighting units, and methods of lighting used, the watts per square meter method may produce 50 to 100 lux, which is approximately 5 to 10 foot candles. Ayan ha. So, i-consider din daw natin yung mga factors katulad ng gaano kalaki yung room, kulay na ginamit sa wall at saka sa ceiling, yung klase ng mga ilaw na gagamitin, at yung methods kung paano gagamitin yung mga ilaw na ipoprovide. Ayan, okay? So sabi dito, yung 20 watts ha, hindi 20 bumbilya, wattage yan ha. Per square meter will provide an illumination of 100 to 150 lux, which is approximately 10 to 15 foot candle in industrial areas. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung industrial areas ang pinag-uusapan natin. For commercial areas naman, yung 2 watts per square foot, maliit lang yan mga anak ha. Imagine ninyo, gawa kayo ng square na ang dimension ay kasing haba ng ruler na 12 inches. Yun na, gawa kayo ng square na 12 inches ang dimension. Yun, ganun kalaki ang square foot. Okay? Or 22 watts per square meter will provide from 80 to 120 lux when used with standard quality equipment. Ayan ha, so may kasama na, may ano pa yan ha, may condition yan ha, with the standard quality equipment. Then yung 40 watts per square meter will provide about 200 lux, which is approximately 20 FC, wherein greater illumination is required. Ayan, okay? So, pataas ng pataas yung wattage, syempre, palaki rin ng palaki yung illumination na kaya niyang ibigay. Okay? Then yung 60 watts natin per square meter will provide about 300 lux or approximately 30 FC, which is recommended for many conventional, industrial at saka commercial requirements. At saka yung 80 watts per square meter will provide from 300 to 350 lux. In excess of supplementary lighting is necessary. Okay, pagka mapapansin niyo meron na dito na supplementary lighting. Okay? Ibig sabihin kasi mga anak, the more na tumataas yung wattage, the more din kasi na tumataas yung energy na kinakain yan. 'Di ba? So, maigi din para medyo makatipid sa kuryente, dapat may supplementary lighting din tayo kapag medyo mataas na yung wattage na ginagamit natin. Okay? So again ha, mga anak, remember, iba si lumens kay wattage. Si lumens, yan yung light output. Okay? Yung brightness, the brightness itself, yun yung lumens. Pagka naman wattage or yung watts na tinatawag natin, yun naman yung amount ng energy na ginamit nung source para makapagbigay siya ng kanyang light output. Okay? Directly proportional naman yung dalawa. The higher the wattage of the source, the greater the light output it can produce. Okay? Yun nga lang, ano rin yan ha, pag masyadong mataas yung light output, umiinit din siya, mas mainit din siya, 'di ba? Kaya nga 'di ba sinasabi ko sa inyo, hindi naman kayo mga sisiw na kailangang limliman, 'di ba? So kung medyo maliit lang naman yung area, pwede na yung mababang light output. Pwede na yung mababang wattage. Okay? Next. Okay, let's have now the coefficient of utilization and maintenance factor. So ano ito? It is the usable initial foot candle or lux equal to the foot candle produced by the coefficient of utilization or abbreviated as CU. Okay? Ano yung sinasabi natin na initial foot candle or simply initial? When we say initial, it is emphasized because the output of light fixture is reduced with time as the lamp fixture becomes old and dirty. Kaya may word na initial. Kasi di ba alam naman natin, habang tumatagal, nagwo-worn out yung mga bombilya natin. Di ba? Unti-unti, dumidilim din yan. Kasi, kumbaga sa tao, tumatanda. As well as, kapag madumi na yung mga bombilya natin, example, ay nababawasan din yung kanyang light output na pwedeng ibigay. Kaya di ba sabi ko nga sa inyo, dapat pala pinupunasan talaga, literal na pinupunasan natin yung mga bombilya natin para ma-maximize pa rin natin yung brightness na kaya niyang ibigay. Okay? So, lamp output normally drops and is termed as maintenance factor. So, kapag bumaba na yung output na kayang ibigay ng isang source, doon napapasok yung term na maintenance factor. Ayan. Kaya mga anak, eto, meron tayo ditong example of table nung tinatawag natin na coefficient of utilization at saka yung tinatawag natin na maintenance factor. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Dito muna tayo ha, sa coefficient of utilization. So, dito sa fixture description, it includes here efficient fixture, large unit, colored room. Okay? Ang CU natin dito is 0.25 or only that is 25%. Ano ibig sabihin ng 0.25? So, ibig sabihin yan, only 25% of the light reaches the work area. 25% lang daw ang nakakarating dun sa work area. This low value for an efficient fixture likely assumes the light is absorbed by darker wall colors. So, bakit 25% lang ang nakakarating sa working area? Kasi mga anak, sabi dyan, no, large unit colored room. So, ibig sabihin, mostly ng light ay inabsorb, hindi siya na-reflect. In fact, kung titignan natin yung figure, ibig sabihin yan, 75% ang inabsorb, 25% lang ang na-reflect. Okay? That is why pag sinabi nating 0.35 for the average fixture, medium size room, ibig sabihin 30% lang ang nakaabot sa target, This is the most efficient scenario in this specific table, likely due to a better balance of room geometry and reflection. Okay? So 35% lang ang nakarating sa target, pero at least 'di ba, malaki-laki na 'yan compared dun sa 25%. Tapos yung 0.25 ulit sa inefficient fixture, small or dark room naman. Kanina kasi efficient fixture, large unit colored room. Okay, dito inefficient fixture, small at saka medyo madilim yung room. So 25% lang din siya, 'di ba? So 25 efficiency in small or dark rooms, much of the light is absorbed by the walls before it can reach the floor or desk. Ayan, okay? So mostly yung light na absorb na ng wall, okay, bago pa nakarating sa wall, sa desk or sa floor. Kaya 25% lang siya. Okay? Ano naman itong maintenance factor natin? So dito makikita natin yung fixture description, enclosed fixture, clean room. Ibig sabihin mga anak, malinis Ibig sabihin napunasan yung yung bombilya. Okay? Ang CU natin dito is 0.80 or that is 80%. So paano natin to i-interpret? In a clean environment, example, office or lab, with protected bulbs, you only lose about 20% of the light over time. So ibig sabihin mga anak, 80% ang nagagamit mo, 20% lang ang hindi. Yun ang ibig sabihin nito. Ito naman, 25% lang ang nakakarating sa target, 75% ang na-absorb. Okay, ito 80% ang nagamit, 20% ang hindi. Tapos dito sa 70%, okay, itong average condition, this is a standard middle ground estimate. You expect to lose 30% of the initial light output due to dust and lamp aging. So dito, mga anak, medyo bumaba na tayo ng 10%. Bakit? Pwedeng marumi na yung bumbilya natin or pwede din namang luma na yung bombilya. Kaya medyo nagde-degrade na rin yung brightness na kaya niyang i-produce. Okay? Then sa open fixture or dirty room, ayan, 60% ang CU natin. Okay? So in dusty or industrial areas or with open fixtures that collect grime easily, 40% of the light is lost. You have to over-design the room with more lights to compensate. So dito makikita natin 40% na yung nasasayang. Okay? Kasi nga unang-una, kapag halimbawa masyadong malalaki yung mga bintana, mabilis pumasok ang alikabok. 'Di ba? So ang nangyayari doon, dudumi yung mga bombilya natin. Kaya 40% na agad yung mawawala, 60% na lang yung magagamit natin. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng coefficient of utilization and maintenance factor. Okay? So in connection to this, let's have now the lamp lumen is therefore simply the rated output of the lamp. So in order for you to compute the initial foot candle, that is simply the lamp lumens multiplied with yung sinasabi natin kanina, yung coefficient of utilization divided by the area. Pagka naman maintenance illumination, you multiply the lamp lumens with the coefficient utilization with the maintenance factor divided by the area. I'll give you an example. Let's say a school classroom with a general dimension of 24 by 30 feet is lighted with 10 fluorescent lamps of 4F 40 T12 WW rapid start lamp. Calculate the initial and maintained illumination in foot candle, or we will be using the English system and the lux, okay, assuming that the CU or the coefficient utilization is 35% and the maintenance factor is 70%. Okay? Paliwanag ko muna mga anak, ma'am, ano ibig sabihin nung 4F 40 T12 WW? Ito. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Okay, yung 4F, ibig daw sabihin niyan is yung length ng bulb. F stands for feet. So, ibig sabihin, 4 feet ang haba nung fluorescent lamp. Yung 40, eto, yan yung nominal power of the bulbs or yung wattage. Kaya pag sinabing 40, ibig sabihin 40 watts yung bombilya. Then yung T, ayan, nagsasabi ito ng shape, yung 12 nagsasabi ng diameter ng bulb. Kaya T stands for tubular. Tube. Ibig sabihin ito, yung mga ordinary fluorescent lamp na ginagamit natin, yung mga pahaba. Okay, kasi merong circular eh. I don't know kung meron kayo nun sa bahay ninyo. 'Di ba? Yung circular na fluorescent lamp. So, ibig sabihin, yung fluorescent lamp na ginamit dito is pahaba, tas meron siyang diameter. Ibig sabihin, yung laki, yung taba nung lamp is aabot ng 12 12/8 of an inch. Okay? Tapos, pag sinabi nating WW, ito yung huli, ibig sabihin niyan, warm white. Color temperature of the light produced. Okay? Kaya di ba yung mga fluorescent lamp, hindi yan masyadong mainit compare sa mga incandescent bulb, di ba? Kasi warm white ang color temperature na kaya nilang ibigay. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin warm, di ba, hindi masyadong mainit. Kasi pag mainit, hot, di ba? Pag sinabi nating warm, medyo mainit. Okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng 4F, 40T, 12WW. Again, yung 4F, nagsasabi ng length ng bulb. So, ibig sabihin 4 feet. Yung 40 wattage. Yung T ay shape ng lamp. Then yung 12 is the diameter. T is tubular. Then WW stands for warm white. Okay? So, dito ang gagawin natin, ganito lang siya ha. Okay. According to the table, eto, kahit ma'am wala naman pong binanggit dyan na 3,200 lumps. Pagka kasi fluorescent lamp mga anak, matic, ang lumen output niyan is 3,200 lumens. Tapos, kukunin natin yung lamp lumens. Paano natin kukunin yon? 10, saan nanggaling yung 10? Kasi di ba sabi dyan, meron tayong 10 fluorescent lamp na gagamitin. So, 10 fixtures multiplied with 4 lamps per fixture. Okay, ibig sabihin, 4 na bombilya per fixture. Tapos, multiplied with yung ating lumen output, yung 3,200 lumen natin, that is per lamp. Ha, per lamp yan ha. So, multiply natin yung tatlo, 10 times 4 times 3,200 will give you 128,000 lumens. So, this is already our lamp lumens. Tapos, ang pinapahanap sa atin dito is the initial FC. Okay? English unit na lang ang gamitin natin para hindi na tayo mag-convert pa na mag-convert ha. Okay, the initial FC, ito yon. So, we have the lumens multiplied with the CU divided by the A. Okay? Yung area natin, hindi ko na i-convert sa squared meter ha, squared feet na ang gagamitin ko. Okay? So, yung lumens natin, yung nakuha natin na lamp lumens na 128,000 multiplied doon sa CU, binigay naman 35, 0.35, divided by the 24 times 30 will give you 720 squared foot. So therefore, our initial FC is 62.22 foot candle. Okay, so that is already the initial FC. Then yung maintenance illumination natin, again, this is the formula. So we have the initial FC, ito yung nakuha natin dyan, multiplied with MP. Ma'am, bakit ganun? Ito po yung formula. Kasi kung titignan nyo anak, di ba, itong part na to, ito, initial foot candle na yan. Lamp lumens times CU divided by the area. Itong part na to, ayan, initial foot candle na yan. So if you have already the initial foot candle, multiply mo na lang siya sa MF or yung maintenance factor. Makukuha mo na yung maintenance illumination. So ibig sabihin, yung nakuha natin na initial FC, which is 62.22 FC, multiplied with 0.70, yung MF na binigay, so that is 43.55 foot candle. Ayan. So, this is now the answer. The initial FC is 62.22 and the maintenance illumination is 43.55 foot candle. Okay? Okay. I will continue the discussion in next video.